Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. That was a weird wave. I feel like this hand got a little out of control. Stay down. We're gonna talk about brushes today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Today I'm gonna talk about kind of like a basic brush kit or brush collection that is just kind of going to give you like all the tools that you need to create basically any eye look, any kind of complexion situation that you want. This is just what I use personally. I use these brushes every single time I do my makeup pretty much. There's kind of like a core selection and then some like extras that you use for certain things but you might not use every day. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna start with face and complexion. Typically I use a beauty blender. You guys all know this. I do this in all of my tutorials. Beauty blender I really like for foundation, concealer, powder, basically everything that's like skin tone that goes on your skin. I also use it sometimes if I have like a cream highlight, like Jouer, they have their cream highlights that's like in a little pan and I just dip like the fat end of the beauty blender in that pan and then I use it on my cheekbones and it works beautifully for that. You can use the beauty blender for literally 1,000 million different things. You can use the fat end, the side, and the pointed end, so it kind of covers all my bases for me. Now the next thing that I would usually do in my makeup routine would be my brows. I recommend a double-ended brow brush with kind of the slanted tip on one side and the spoolie on the other. Mine is like real dirty, guys, don't judge. To me, okay, so for this overall video, I'm not necessarily recommending one brand over the other. I use a whole range of brands. I probably use like 5 different brands between all the brushes that I use on my face every day, so I really like a lot of different versions of this brush. I like the Anastasia one. This one is, I think it's the Anastasia one, but like the smaller version. I can't remember. I have a ton of these. But I like that it's dual-ended because you can flip it over and like comb through your brows and then flip it back over and do your brow product, and it's super, super easy that way. Next, so if you can't tell, I'm doing this in like the order that I would do my face. So I'm like thinking, okay, what's next? Next, I would do contour, and I typically just contour in the hollows of my cheeks and bring it up to my forehead or my 5 head or my 6 head because I need a little bit of contouring help on my forehead. And what I use for that is actually a Sigma brush, and I've had this for so long. I've probably had this for 5 years. I'm not kidding. And I use it constantly. I take really good care of my brushes and my products. So, you know, it's not as though this is going like a million years without being cleaned and stuff. The one thing is this does shed occasionally. I don't know if you just saw that, but sometimes it does shed, especially when you clean it. This is a natural hair brush, and it's just kind of like an angled brush that I really like for contouring, like I said, because it kind of gets underneath your cheekbone really well. It kind of has, because it's got that angle, it just allows you to rest it on your face at such a comfortable angle. Like, it just makes it so easy. I love this. Like, I've tried so many different brushes for contouring and I always come back to this one. Like I said, this is Sigma. It's an F40, but you can do whatever. You can use whatever brand you want. Makeup Forever has a really nice one that is synthetic hairs, and that one is great. Their brushes, by the way, bomb. They're so good, but they're expensive. Go figure. So then I would do my blush. So I usually do contour and then blush and then highlight. Sometimes I do highlight and then blush, but whatever. This is the blush brush that I'm currently using. I've also had this one for a while. I like that it is medium sized for a blush brush. It's not a tiny one where I feel like you can kind of get a streaking action going on, and it's not so big that you end up doing like your whole face in blush, because that can be really not cute. This one is also by Sigma. It is called their F10, but like I said, you can use so many different brands, versions of this kind of thing. I like how it's a little bit rounded, but also kind of squared off, and then it's sort of flat on one way, and then it's wider on the other direction. So I like that because you can kind of sweep it this way and then turn it sideways and get like a little, you know what I mean? It's very versatile, very easy to use, and I really enjoy that. So the next one is this Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35. This one I use for highlighting my cheekbones. I used to use this for setting my under eyes, and it works really well for that, but because I use it for highlighter now, I don't use it for my under eyes just because I don't want shimmer under there, and I tend to use my beauty blender for that anyway. I didn't mean to flip you off just now, I'm sorry. But this is just kind of like a nice little bunny tail brush, and I really like it. It's cute. It's really good for highlighting the nose, anything you want to highlight, this will do. It's nice and fluffy, and it's not too soft, so it gives you a little bit of control. So that's it for the brushes that I use on my face typically day to day. Next I want to talk about the ones that I use on my eyes for doing different eye looks, and then also a lip situation. I'll start with the basics that I think are like required. Like if I'm traveling, I'm gonna grab these brushes for sure, and I have to have them for pretty much any look that I'm doing, and then I'm gonna kind of of build it out to kind of show you guys like things that you can swap in and out that you may need one day for a certain look and not the other day for another, if that kind of makes sense. They have more specialized uses. So I will go kind of in order here. First, I always do my transition shade, which is like a light, kind of like medium matte shade of eyeshadow that you use in the transition area to kind of like blow it out and make it look really nicely blended. I use this brush for that. This is a Morphe MB23 brush, and this is a really nice fluffy blending brush. I am so picky about my fluffy blending brushes. This one is synthetic hairs, and I'm like unreasonably picky about my blending brushes because I feel like they need to be long enough, but the perfect amount of softness versus stiffness. When it comes to the hairs, they need to be splayed out enough at the right angle to get the right blend. Like, I am so picky, and this one has been awesome, so I'm like sticking with this one. So I do that with the transition shade. I keep this on hand throughout the look that I'm creating so that I can blend as I go, like kind of each stage of the look I'm blending again, just so that I don't get anything like getting too crazy on the edges or anything like that. I really enjoy this. I focus a lot of the blending on this kind of like outer corner in the crease here and just outward. Because I use this for my transition shade, it's usually got a lighter color, and that's a very good way to blend just about anything. You don't want to dip it into like a dark smoky color and use that to blend, because it's just not going to be smooth and seamless. Next, I have to have this one on me. This one is also by Morphe. It is the M433. It's just kind of like one of those goat hair ones. Compared to its sister over here, it is slightly different. This one is the Sigma E35. Now, I like these two for different reasons, but this one, the Morphe M433, is the one that I have to have at all times, and I'll tell you why. This one, you can see, is longer, and it is kind of slimmer, if that makes sense. It's almost more closely related to this one. The reason why I prefer this guy is because I like that it is, this one, the ferrule is pinched. This one, same with the black one, the ferrule is rounded. So what that means is that this one, the hairs are uniformly round in a circle. They're placed in a circle. This one is kind of placed in like an oval, and I like that for doing the deeper crease. So when you're doing your crease eyeshadow, you want to be able to deposit color and blend it at the same time, which is why I like the goat hair brushes, and I like this shape because it fits into the crease, but it has that fluffiness that helps you to blend it out. Then when I do the crease color, I always go back with my fluffy brush and blend it out into the transition shade just so it's nice and seamless, but this is like indispensable. I have to have this guy. The next one that I have to have some form of is a lid brush. Now, if I'm traveling, for example, I will pick one of these and just use it based on what I know, like the kinds of shadows that I'm bringing and stuff, but at home I always have both of these on hand. This one is a flat synthetic brush, and it's got like much more of a pinched ferrule than this one does. This one is kind of like a short shader brush. It's much thicker and fluffier, but it's very good for depositing color onto the lid and kind of packing it on. This one, because it's flatter and synthetic, I really like to spray this down with Fix Plus or another spray and use this for more metallic shadows or pigments, stuff like that. I just feel like this one does a really good job. I forgot to tell you what these are. This one is the Revolution BX80. I got this in a BoxyCharm a little while ago. And then this one is the Morphe 422, and that's kind of like just the chunky shader brush. These are both great. I use this one more with matte shades when I'm doing that on the lid, and this one more, like I said, with metallic or shimmery shades. Just kind of depends on the look that I'm doing, but I have to have at least one of these on hand. If I go somewhere and I'm traveling and I only brought one, but I realized that I needed the other, they work really well interchangeably. It's just that I feel like they're easier for kind of the designated purpose, but it's not like you're high and dry if you have one and need the other. It's gonna be fine. So those are the basics. Like I said, if I'm traveling, I'll just maybe grab those and like call it good and be able to pull off any look with that. I'll take like my blending brush and do my lower lash line too. Like, it's no big deal. It'll work out in a pinch if I need it to. But then there's some brushes that kind of expand that collection a little bit that, like I said, are more specialty purpose brushes. This one is a flat concealer brush. I like to use it for cleaning up the edges here, or sometimes if I'm cleaning up my brow, like if I've done like a really dramatic brow and I want to use some foundation and clean it up a little bit, I'll use this guy. I do use this quite a lot for like different random things. It's kind of like an all-purpose brush. Oh, this one is Sigma, and it is the F70, and it's designated as a concealer brush, but you know, you do you. The next one is something that I love because it is also a multitasker. This one is like, it's like a goat hair pencil brush, right? I like this brush a lot. It's good for blending out the lower lash line. It's good for doing inner corner highlight. I did my, all of my eye highlight with this today. So I did my brow highlight and my inner corner highlight. This also, like if you've used it on your eyes or even if you haven't, you can clean it off and use it as a lip brush. So if you have like a lip palette that you're using or something like that and you want to use a lip brush with it, this works really well as a lip brush. Awesome. The only thing about it is that lip colors can sometimes stain this, so it's a little bit harder to get the colors out, but it's totally fine. It cleans up all right. It's not gonna like stay in there forever and like gunk up your makeup from then on. You know what I'm saying? So this one's awesome. Like I said, super multitasker. It can blend out the lower lash line. It can do a ton of different things. The next one is something that I almost put in my like core essentials packet, but I don't use it every single time. So I don't know. You can use this one for so many things as well. This one is, oh, I didn't say what this one was. This one's a Sigma E30. The pencil brush. This one is a Sigma E20 and it's a short shader brush. This one I love for depositing color onto the lower lash line. It's not as good for blending it out, but just for packing it on, I love that. And then I would go blend it out with another brush. I also love this if I'm doing like a smoky look and I want to put either some eyeliner, like a eyeliner pencil on my lash line and then blend it out. This one's really good for blending it out. Or even if you just do like a little bit of dark shadow and you want to blend it out, this one's amazing for that. So I love this one. I'm losing my clothes. And then we have like a flat angled eyeliner a flat angled eyeliner brush. I'm pretty picky when it comes to my angled eyeliner brushes. I need something that's not too frayed, and this one has become a little bit frayed, so I'm really sad because this used to be the perfect shape. This is a MAC 208, which I do recommend generally, but this one's just gotten kind of old. I think I need to replace it. I like it when it's super like you know, like not frayed, like I said, and also angled. This one works amazing for cream or gel eyeliner. What I typically do is I will take a shadow, like if I don't have a liner in the color that I want or I don't have a liner on me, I'll take a shadow, mix it with a drop of the Makeup Forever Aqua Seal drops, and then I will make an eyeliner out of that, and it's amazing. This works so well for that, so this one's awesome. And then the last brush that I have to talk about today is the MAC 228. Now this is a tiny little flat, like almost a small version of like a lid brush, so like something that you would use for the eyeshadow right on the lid. This is just a tiny version of it, and I love this for highlighting the eye as well. So like in the inner corner here, the brow bone, it's really good for that. And sometimes I'll use this for like glitters, like if I'm putting them on the lid or something. You don't always want like a really big brush to do that because it can kind of get everywhere. So if I'm doing something a little more controlled, like maybe I'm doing a cut crease with glitter on the lid or a pigment on the lid, I'll use this guy. It works really well with Fix Plus and stuff like that. So awesome. Again, this is a MAC 228. I have pretty much told you what all of these are, but like I said, try out different brands. Every brand makes something a little bit different and everyone's preference is a little bit different. So it's not as though one brand is like a ton better than all the other ones. Another note that I will say about brushes in general, I get a lot of questions about brush kits and brush sets and brushes and what do I need and what are the basics and stuff, which is why I did this video. But one particular note that I have about brush sets that you buy where it's like pre-curated for you and you just buy the set and it's got everything you need for a full face or everything you need for a smoky eye or whatever. I don't tend to like those, and it doesn't even matter the brand. I just don't like sets because inevitably there's 1, 2, 3, maybe more brushes in there that you'll never use, or you look at it and you're like, I don't even know what I would do with that brush. Like, because everyone's taste and everyone's method is so different, you really do need to select your own brushes individually, I feel like, especially if you don't want to end up with a ton of extra brushes on hand. If you don't care and you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy all the brushes anyway, then buy the kits. That's what I did a long time ago. But these days I tend to like pick and choose individual brushes from individual brands more often. Yes, you do often save money with brush sets as opposed to buying brushes individually. However, like I said, if you're not gonna end up using all those, are you really saving money? I don't know. So that's just my thoughts, my 2 cents about that. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I have a blog page where I will put all of the different brushes that I talked about and links to as many of them as I can find, just so it's nice and right there and out in the open and easy for you guys to find. I will link that blog post down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye!